This next one is from the Aist, Cosmic Zen. Cos, I'm glad you're still doing your thing, although not as much as you should be. You've tapered off on your videos a little bit, and according to my girlfriend, you're spending way too much time on Facebook. So, what's up with that? Your question was, what is the origin of your screen name? I kind of know what Techno is, but what the fuck is a Blix? This actually goes back to almost to sort of Variablast's question, to Fuck's question, on when I was saying how I can't read fantasy anymore. I've gone from fantasy and I slowly transferred into hardcore science fiction. And I'm still hardcore science fiction all the way. Blix, or I don't know if you ever saw the movie Legend with Tom Cruise. I highly recommend it. It's a fantastic movie. It's very sweet, very campy, but it's a classic. Unicorns, the devil. It's got Tim Curry in it as the devil. How can you go wrong with Tim Curry? But that was Blix. And I used to use Blix as a call sign for video games, just depending on what I was using. If I needed a call sign, I would use Blix, because I was way into fantasy. And then it became less me, because I was getting more and more into science, into technology. So instead of just changing my call sign altogether, I added Techno on the front. So Techno doesn't actually stand for music, it stands for technology. So it's technology and Blix. Oh, by the way, Blix is the goblin in Legend. Little green guy, although played by a girl, little green goblin with a really cool raspy voice that's really evil and nasty, and he kind of looks like a giant slimy booger. So he's really nasty and really cool. But I added Techno onto Blix. There you go. Nothing extreme, nothing all that clever. But that's Techno Blix. That's where it came from, and now everyone knows how corny I am. Thank you very much. Mr. Unscientific, I love your videos, and please keep them up. Your questions, how long will it take to make the other 49 states as cool as Oregon? I'm hoping not very long, but way too long. The only thing Oregon has against it is it rains 365 days out of the year and has one of the highest suicide rates in the world. It also has one of the highest amount of pubs per capita in the world. So I'm not sure if that's a negative or a positive. Oh well. It is very cool, and there aren't enough states like it. But they are slowly starting to get more liberal, more open, more... there's a bunch of states that have legalized marijuana or decriminalized marijuana, so how much longer after that can a state really be uncool? We'll have to see. But your other questions... have you ever traveled outside the Americas? And I answered that with Pope Benedict XVI's question. And what is the most spontaneous thing you remember doing as an adult? And that's kind of easy. Actually, it's very easy. I met my best friend. Pursuit of Truth, by the way, is his YouTube channel. There's not a lot of stuff. It's some of my early videos, our early videos, where we're talking about some of this stuff. But I met him when I was 20, and I'd never even been out. I've been with my parents, you know, to Hawaii, where I grew up, and into Oregon and that northwest area, but I'd never really gone anywhere on my own as an adult. So when I was 20, I met him, and then turned 21, and he got an offer to go down to Florida where I'm at now, oddly, and live with his brother. And he wanted to come. He was an entertainer, or is an entertainer, and wanted to come down and try his luck with the live music scene and maybe get a job at Disney, that kind of thing. And I was just finishing massage school, and I was working at McDonald's. And I had this beat up little car, and he asked me if I wanted to go to Florida with him. I've never done anything like that before at the time. And I said, yeah. So I quit my job, packed up all his stuff, because he was moving down there, packed up all his stuff in my little tiny car, and bolted a couple pieces of wood on the hood of the car and strapped down more stuff on the hood of the car and drove to Florida. And that was probably the most spontaneous thing that I can remember doing as an adult. Everything else, even the crazy stuff, I'm just lame enough to have planned all that stuff out to make sure I didn't get hurt, because I'm paranoid. But that's the most spontaneous thing, or that's the first spontaneous thing that pops into my head. And last, but certainly not least, is Starbuck Hysteria. And if you get any more channels with the name Starbuck in front of it, I'm going to start to get a little concerned that you might be a little obsessive. But that's all right. It was a good series. Your question is going to take some time, and it may go into another video. In fact, this might have split up into 2 videos already. I don't know yet. Do you think people will stop thinking about money and status because it seems so utterly pointless to me? We're all expected to work so hard for nothing in the end because we're not taking anything into the tomb. And you're right. We're not taking anything into the tomb. And do I think there'll become a time when we'll stop using money? Yes, I do. I do think there's going to be a time of utopia. I couldn't tell you when, but a scenario, something to think about, when you're playing a video game and you just dominate everyone. Does anybody give a damn how expensive your computer is? Maybe I should rephrase it just a little bit differently. Imagine that everybody has the top-of-the-line computer, the fastest PlayStation computer, whatever you happen to play, whatever gaming console you're using, it's the best in the world, and you all have it. At that point, what gives you status? What gives you, I want to say credits, but street cred? What do you play for? Are you playing? You're not playing for money. You're playing for status, skill. What you bring to the table is what's valuable. So at that point, everybody has the same thing. It doesn't matter that it's all the best PlayStation or the best computer or all that. It's what you bring to it that has the real value, not the stuff. There's going to come a time in the near future where most of our time will be spent virtual. University of Michigan had the nano neural interface, and then more recently they were working on designs to wire the whole brain. In essence, the Matrix. If the Matrix or something cooler than the Matrix doesn't happen within the next 10 to 15 years, I'd be very surprised. Now, once everybody's spending most of their time in virtual reality, actual stuff isn't going to be the value. It's going to be what you bring to the table in the environment, what you add, what your knowledge is, how you interact. There's still going to be physical needs, but if you've spent, 10 hours in your virtual environment exploring the universe and doing amazing stuff, when you come back, having a Ferrari in the driveway won't be as impressive. There will also come a time when molecular manufacturing becomes more prevalent, possible, and at that point, anybody's going to be able to have a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, or whatever the current fad is. The Ray-Ban sunglasses, although I'm probably dating myself with that.